A very good morning, everyone. Welcome to StudyIQ English. Welcome to today's Hindu news analysis session with me. I am Soumya, and like every day, our agenda will be to analyze UPSC relevant articles from the Hindu newspaper, the New Delhi edition for today. So we are looking at 8th of October 2025. And here, as you can see on the screen, we have about 7 articles that are exam relevant. While the first 2 articles are the ones that I have picked up from the editorial page. That's page number 6 because these are lengthy. So we will look at them from mains perspective. Now the remaining other articles, all of these, the remaining 5 are, you can say, relevant to prelims. We will gather some points for mains also. And very good morning, Nagulan, Ponguru, Pranarthi, Sonu. Very good morning. Shubra. Very good morning, everyone. Okay, so let's start the discussion now with the first article on your screen. This is page number 6, editorial. Okay, and the article says Israel's tactical gains in a strategic labyrinth. Yesterday also we had spoken about the West Asian problem. Yes, we had discussed Israel-Palestine conflict and the role that today US President Trump is playing in mediating that conflict. I think it's not a new topic for us. But this article is looking at the whole situation historically. That how since 1960s to today, the West Asian problem has evolved. And today we are looking at a band-aid solution, a very short-term solution which may not have a permanent solution at all. Okay, so that's the pitch of the article. And now you know this is GS paper 2, international relations. We are talking about Israel-Palestine relations, the geopolitical situation in West Asia, what impact does it have on countries like Europe, US, India, all that we shall be looking into. Very good morning, dear Dipesh. Very good morning, Siddhana. Good to see you. Great to see all of you. So the articles begin by saying that yesterday was 7th October, if you remember. I had also told you yesterday. Good morning, Raj. Yesterday was 7th October, which means 7th October 2023 to yesterday 7th October 2025. Exactly 2 years are over now. 2 years are over for the Israel-Palestine conflict, rather Israel-Hamas conflict. These 2 years have been very eventful. We have seen in the newspaper dangerous photos of people dying, UN agencies trying to provide aid through them. We have seen horrific cases of poverty, mass migration, lack of medical supplies. All in all, in the last 2 years, West Asia has been one of the worst hit crises in the world. Maximum hunger, maximum genocide, too much humanitarian problem, displacement of people, attack on civilians. In the last 2 years, this is how West Asia has been. Today, as 2 years have completed from the war, the situation of West Asia has definitely evolved. There is a massive change in the situation. What kind of change? So let's quickly go back to before the 2023 7th October period. Okay, let's go back to the time before the attack by Hamas happened on Israel. As we go back to that time period, exactly before 2 years, let's remember it was 7th October 2023, the fateful day on which Hamas attacked Israel. And how did it attack? It attacked in such a way that in Israel, innocent people unnecessarily fell prey to the attack. Israel was not prepared for the attack at that time. Therefore, as about so many people died, about 152 were taken as hostages by the Hamas. And since then, Israel has also committed. Israel has committed that I am not going to leave any country which protects Hamas, which protects Hezbollah, or which protects the Islamic militia or the jihadi groups. We are not going to spare them. That is my enemy. And Israel says no matter which country argues whatever, but I will take revenge on anybody who protects Hamas. And this is the promise Israel made. And now, for the last 2 years, you and I have seen the kind of war that has erupted in the area. It is unprecedented in the world history. Today, West Asia is moving towards a whole new geopolitical situation. Going back before 2023, At that point of time, situation used to be very different. And I'm talking about before 2023 attack by Hamas on Israel, okay? Before that, situation was different. Before that, West Asian countries themselves were caught in an internal politics. And what kind of internal politics was that? At that point of time, Palestine was being neglected by most of the countries. Most of the countries were not even focusing on Palestine. And the Gaza area was ruled by Hamas. Most of the Gaza was under the occupation of Hamas. At the same time, there was a small strip called West Bank. There was a small area called West Bank. This was ruled by Fatah. And what is Fatah? Fatah is the Palestinian Authority. Okay, so Fatah is Palestinian government. So you see, West Asia was very different that time. Very good morning, dear Deeps. Good morning, Reshma, Lenny. I'm so happy to know you're from Karnataka, Raj. You're welcome, dear. Okay, so at that point of time, before the 7th October 23 attack, most of the country in the Palestinian region was controlled by Hamas. Gaza was under Hamas. A very thin strip of land called West Bank was controlled by Palestinian Authority called Fatah. Fatah, okay? Now, Palestinians themselves were divided into each other. It is not like Palestinians had a united voice. They were not united at all. There was no spirit of nationalism back then. Within Palestine, there was a fracture. Fracture between Hamas, local rebel groups, Palestinian Liberation Organization members, and the Fatah, the ruling authorities of Palestine. There was no unity at all. And this lack of unity gave a huge advantage to countries like Israel. At that point of time, America also played a key role. What role did America play? America tried to convince countries like Saudi Arabia, UAE, Bahrain. US convinced all these countries to make friends with Israel. Why? Because US said that Iran is the biggest threat in the area. In the entire West Asia, Iran is a bigger threat than Israel. Definitely, it is a very hypocritical statement to make. It is not true. Because Iran still is a member of NPT, Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. Iran is ready to allow United Nations to inspect its nuclear weapons. Israel is not. Israel has never given a clarity on the amount of weapons it has. Neither is Israel open for any negotiation. But still, America said Iran is a bigger threat than Israel. And for the Arabic countries also, it was the same. They felt that yes, Iran indeed is a rising nuclear power. And Iran will continue to be the dominant power in West Asia. Therefore, countries of Arab countries, including Saudi Arabia, including Bahrain, including UAE, all these countries came together and joined hands with Israel. They were ready to support and acknowledge Israel, encouraged by America. What was the bigger purpose? The bigger purpose was against Iran, to counterbalance the rising military and nuclear strength of Iran. They kept on moving closer to Israel just to create a counterforce against Iran. And then what happened? Iran started doing its own work. Iran knew that nobody is there to support me. So Iran started creating its own group called as, very famously in world affairs, we call this as Iran's Axis of Resistance. It was in the news all this year. Iran's Axis of Resistance. In this, Iran had Hamas. Iran had Hezbollah from Lebanon. Iran had Islamic jihadi groups from Palestine, plus pro-Iran militant groups called militia in Iraq and Syria. All these countries had terror organizations including Hamas, Hezbollah, militia, jihadi group spread through countries like Palestine, spread through countries like Yemen, Syria, and you had countries like Iraq. All of them supported Iran. So this was Iran's own axis of resistance. But this was strongly opposed by America because most of these groups are internationally declared terrorists. And hence, America wanted Iran to be sanctioned off. America wanted nobody to keep a relationship with Iran at all. The Houthis as well, Dipesh, absolutely. Houthis again from Yemen. They were a major terror group. Until recently, they used to threaten the blockage of areas like Suez Canal, cutting off undersea cables in the Mediterranean. They have been responsible for too much instability in West Asia. Absolutely, well said. Yes, so apart from Hezbollah, Hamas, militia, apart from Islamic Jihad groups, there is Houthi also, Houthi in Yemen. All of these are against Israel and America. They have two agendas. One is anti-West, anti-America. Second is anti-Israel. So Iran was taking support of all these people. And on the other hand, we had Israel strongly supported by America. America wanted to integrate and consolidate Israel as a deep friend. So America proposed that Arabic countries, including Saudi, UAE, Bahrain, Morocco, Sudan, they all now start making friends with Israel. With that in mind, in 2020, America supported a peace treaty known as Abraham Accords. You must have heard about that. Abraham Accords. Okay, these are called Abraham Accords, a series of peace negotiations between Israel and other Arabic and African countries like, I will repeat, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Bahrain, Morocco, Sudan, all these countries here. Slowly, all of them started recognizing Israel. That was a major victory for US plus Israel. At the same time, they started creating other groups also to support Israel. For example, a major group that they created was known as the I2U2 group. You have heard about the group? Yes, anybody? Have you heard about the group? I2U2, very important global affairs. I2U2 was about India. Remember, it is important to us. Israel, UAE, and US. All these countries together created I2U2 group. India, Israel, US, UAE. Two countries with I, so I2. Two countries with U, so U2. Easy to remember, right? I2U2 group. What was the purpose? Economic and technological cooperation with each other. Second attack came in the form of IMEEC, India, Middle East, Europe Economic Corridor. This was proposed when India was the leader of G20 summit in 2023. And what was the idea here? The idea was to integrate, to link India to Europe via the Gulf of Israel. So all these countries together, supported by America, are now trying to go against Iran. There are only two intentions that these countries have, please remember. One, to counterbalance Iran in the West Asia. Two, to counterbalance China-Russia equation in the Eastern area. These are the two targets that they have. So all these groups were made. 2020 Abraham Accords, friendship treaty between Arab countries and Israel. Two, I2U2. Third, IMEEC, India, Middle East, Europe Economic Corridor. Please remember the name, very important for the exam. Now, all these were meant so that US, Israel, various other countries become one group and completely ignore and sideline Iran. But the problem was, this all happened before 2023 and things were looking very clear that Israel will be the dominant power. America will convince everybody to recognize Israel. But then things suddenly changed. 7th October 2023, Hamas unexpectedly, unannounced, without declaring, targeted Israel. Israel was not prepared for it. 1,200 people died. 250 were taken as hostages. What happened after that? Suddenly, the global politics completely changed. Israel decided to launch an operation known as Operation Iron Sword. Now, for the prelims exam, everybody, this is very important. Yes, India, Middle East, Europe Economic Corridor. Yes, absolutely. Remember this name. For the prelims, it is very important. And even in GS paper 2 next year, for international relations, I am expecting a question. I'm expecting a question on India and West Asia. where you will have to talk about India-Israel relations, India-Iran relations. How is India doing that delicate balancing? If you want, I can give you a ready-made answer also, but we'll do that later, of course. But you need to know these names. I2U2, IMEEC. You need to know Abraham Accords by heart. I will get a map also tomorrow. Whenever we speak of West Asia, I will show you other areas like Golan Heights, all of that I will show you, okay? But remember these names. Also remember, as the attack happened on 7th October 23, Israel responded by launching its Operation Iron Sword. The purpose of the Operation Iron Sword was a new goal, a new target of ending, killing, and finishing every single group that is associated with Hamas or Hezbollah or Houthi or militia or the Islamic Jihadi group of Palestine. That was the purpose. And now Israel went crazy with attacks. Missile attacks, not only in Palestine but across other countries too. Syria, Yemen were not spared. Quite recently, Qatar was not spared. And then in 2025, finally, supported by the US, even Iran's nuclear weapons were attacked. So since then, Israel has not turned back. It said, I will destroy Hamas infrastructure completely in areas like Rafah, in areas like Khan Yunis, and also I will make sure that I create a separate area for myself in North Gaza. And for North Gaza, Israel wanted to create a buffer zone. With this intention, Israel evacuated all Palestinian settlements there. Even today, Israel is busy expanding its own Jewish settlements in many areas of West Bank. Palestinians were cut off from the world. Israel created a blockade all around. Israel did not allow any medicine or supply for aid or food. It was a revenge. It was a vote taken by Israel to completely eliminate and deroot Hamas' existence. Plus, something weird happened in Syria also. In Syria, after many years, the government led by authoritarian leader al-Assad collapsed. Now, there is another politics here. I don't know how many of you are aware here. That it was Russia. Please remember, Russia, President Putin, who wanted al-Assad to rule Syria forever. He was a great friend of al-Assad. He wanted al-Assad regime to exist. What is the intention of Putin in letting al-Assad rule Syria? Why was he favoring the al-Assad regime in Syria? That's an intriguing question. If anybody knows, you can let me know. Otherwise, I will explain later. But in Syria, no matter what, al-Assad government came to an end. There was massive rebellion from every side. Ultimately, the government collapsed. After al-Assad, there were various jihadi groups that started fighting for the power, and recently a leader known as Abu Muhammad al. He was the one who became the leader. Israel took advantage of the situation. Instability in Syria forced Syria to collapse. And now Israel took advantage by also capturing the area of Golan Heights. Now Golan Heights were in the news. For the UPSC exam, it is very important for you to know the location of Golan Heights, because I always keep reminding all of you, places in the news are important for prelims. 100% direct questions are coming. So you should know everything about various things in news, like Iran's nuclear power sites. Okay, Farda, Natanz, the Bushehr plant. At the same time, Golan Heights, Khan Yunis, Rafah, all these were important in the news. So remember about them. Yes, definitely I will come back with that explanation, my dear. I will. Very good morning, Anuj. Okay, so this was the situation. Syria saw the collapse of al-Assad. Israel became happy. Israel took the opportunity and also took the Golan area in Syria. So as Israel is expanding, there is more instability in West Asia. And today, after 2 years of this mess going on, what's the solution? There is no solution. Today, the war by Israel continues. The only change that has come is the global mentality that is changing. Today, no country wants to listen to America. No country wants to support Israel. There used to be countries like UK, Britain, who were once ready to recognize Israel through the Balfour Declaration. There were countries like Saudi Arabia who were ready to support and recognize Israel. Countries like Qatar, countries like Morocco, Sudan, Bahrain, UAE, all of them were ready, inspired by America to recognize Israel. But today you see the change. Today, Gulf countries are angry with Israel. Why are they angry? Because recently Israel attacked Qatar also. As soon as it attacked Qatar, all these Gulf countries understood that America is not powerful anymore. It cannot control Israel. Israel is completely beyond the control of America. It will do what it has to. So today they are also upset with Israel. At the same time, the global community is supporting Palestine and Iran. Countries of European Union, there are countries like France, there are countries like Germany, UK, all of them are ready to recognize Palestine today. All of them want Palestine to get its sovereignty as a separate country. At the same time, there are countries like Canada, Australia, who used to be quite politically neutral. Today, they also support the creation of separate Palestine. Countries like India, who were key supporters of Israel and US, today even India says, no, it is wrong. Israel cannot continue this war against civilians, and we will support the creation of a separate Palestine state. Although India had agreed to a separate country of Palestine long back in 1948 itself. But today India repeats it. India says, yes, Palestine should be independent. Today, the global community is against Israel. It is against America. Nobody is interested in the 20-point peace program that has been announced by President Trump because it is very lame. It gives unnecessary power to President Trump. He is leading the board of peace. But what is it giving to Palestinian people? Nothing. The 20-point peace program of America says Hamas should absolutely stop attacking Israel. Hamas should withdraw. In return, Israel will also withdraw. Hostages will be revealed, but it has not said a word about giving a separate country to Palestine. Today, nobody wants to understand these double standards from America. At the same time, what Israel and America have failed to understand is that Hamas is a different group. It is not like Al Qaeda, it is not like Jaish e Mohammed, it is not like Al Shabaab, it is not like ISIS. It is deeply rooted in Palestinian nationalism. It is not easy to defeat Hamas because Hamas is not about a territorial group. Hamas is about an ideology. It spreads through West Asia. And until that ideology lives, Hamas cannot be finished. This is the feeling Israel also has. And that's the reason it's ready to sign for the peace pact with America. But will it give a long lasting peace? I don't think so. Will it create a permanent solution? Quite unlikely. So this is the article right now that how the future is going to take shape is going to be very interesting for all of us to watch. But one thing is very clear. The whole world today, whether it's developed countries or developing countries, everybody has a doubt on international organizations like IMF, UN, WTO. Nobody trusts them anymore because nobody listens to them anymore. Okay. Now the question, consider the following statements. One, Abraham Accords of 2020 were mediated or brokered by United States, aimed to normalize relationship between Israel and many Arabic countries. Two, the India Middle Eastern Europe Economic Corridor, the IMEEC. Now everybody, my dear, nobody should get confused between IMEC and IMEEC. Then there is the Belt and Road Initiative of China. Remember that. Okay. Second, the IMEEC was created to integrate Israel into regional and global trade networks. Three, the 7th October 2023 was attack by Hamas on Israel that led to the revival of Palestine issue as a central problem in West Asian geopolitics. Absolutely, Dipesh being the first one to answer as always. He says it's D. And as well as Dipesh, we have Shubhra, Vikash, Shubham, Prakash. All of them are saying it's D. And yes, it's D. Well done, my dear. Beautifully performed. Very good morning, dear Eric. Happy to see you. Well done, everyone. Absolutely correct answer. No doubts about that. Well done. Okay. So because these answers are based on the article, when you are answering the question, somehow I'm convinced that you understood what the article is talking about. Second article, page number 6, editorial. A path to progress that is paved with gold. There was a time when India used to be known as the golden bird, Sone ki chidiya, if you remember. It is more than a metaphor today because this article here says that India is now planning to become absolutely Atmanirbhar, self reliant. And by 2047, we celebrate a special year of independence because India says, I will become the Viksit Bharat by 2047, the new developed India. Already, India is among the top three economies of the world. India is a soft power. India is a voice of global south. This means that every time a problem has come, India has faced it with too much strength and resilience. Okay, so this article then comes from GS paper 2, polity governance. It comes from Indian history. It is related to India's problems like poverty and unemployment. So GS paper 3 also. Well answered there. Absolutely, Akhtar. That's correct. Okay. So let me quickly guide you through this article. Page number 6, editorial article. This article is trying to say every time in history India has faced a problem, India has responded, yes. Vishwaguru India. Absolutely, Shubhra. Yeah. The leader of the world. That's what we want to become by 2047. No wonder by 2030 we are trying to fulfill most of our globally committed goals like National Determined Contribution, Semicon Mission, Skill India Mission, Atmanirbhar India Mission, Sagar Mala, all of that. Yes. So the article says every time India faced a problem, India came back with better strength and better performance. For example, in 1960s, shortly after independence, India was facing an acute balance of payment crisis. Indian exports had increased too much, and majorly we had to import food. So, food imports were very high. India did not have enough wheat or enough rice to feed the Indian population. India was completely dependent on countries like America. But India responded under India's great ex Prime Minister, Sri Lal Bahadur Shastri, by adopting the Green Revolution. The Green Revolution of 1950, 1965, 1966 gave us self sufficiency in wheat and rice production. So, not only did we solve the problem of self sufficiency in food, we also became, by today, by 2025, we can proudly say we are the key exporters of wheat, the best varieties of wheat and rice. So, India became self sufficient. In 1960s, there were so many droughts, lack of water, food insecurity. India responded under Green Revolution by bringing many more areas under strict irrigation. India expanded its irrigation capacity. So many river valley projects came up to fight the problem of drought and water scarcity. Now comes 1990 and once again India is in a problem. This time it is a problem of economic debt and recession. Once again the country is in such a bad situation that we do not have money to run the economy. Our foreign reserves are now drying up. The government has only enough money to run the country just for about few months to 1 year. So India is collapsing. But we did not give up. At that time, we adopted the 1991 liberalization, privatization, globalization model under the leadership of Prime Minister Narasimha Rao, created by economic geniuses like Sri Manmohan Singh, Montek Singh Ahluwalia. India adopted complete globalization model, allowed private sector investment, allowed foreign direct investment, and the result is there for everyone. We saw technological transformation. The IT sector in India started booming once again. In software and telecom, India became a global leader. And now if you talk about 2020, 2020 was COVID crisis. There was lockdown, unemployment everywhere. But it was also the time when India became the Vishwaguru. As you're saying, Shubhra, the world leader in vaccine manufacturing. So India started producing indigenously various strains of anti-COVID vaccine like the Covishield, like the Covaxin. The purpose was to lead the world in vaccine supply chain. India helped so many countries of South Asia and South America for free of cost vaccines as a goodwill gesture. Once again, a Vishwaguru in pharmaceutical generic manufacturing component. So India has had a history of being resilient and extremely strong in the face of adversity. Today, 2025 comes, yes, again there is a problem. And what problem are we facing today? There are two, three problems that are in front of India's future right now. One and the biggest problem is that the world after COVID, the world after Russia Ukraine war, the world after Israel Palestine West Asia war has become a new world now. Countries are depending less on globalization. They want to, in fact, become deglobalized. A very good example could be American president's decision of increasing export tariffs from products that are coming from India to 50%. India, Brazil, China, all the countries were imposed with a heavy tariff structure by US. What was the need of the tariff? The need was to protect America's economy, America's local jobs. Example number two. Recently, American president also increased the visa fee to about $1 lakh as one-time H-1B visa payment. But 70% of H-1B visa is used by India and second comes China. It was a move to stop foreign brains to come in America so that local Americans get better jobs. And there is no more offshoring to talent in America and Asia. Yes, absolutely, Vikash. It is about protectionism. Countries are now becoming anti-global. They are trying to become protectionist. Like America's policy of tariff, H-1B visa hike. Suddenly America says, I don't want to open up my agriculture sector, but India should allow me to export corn to India. What are all these? All these are about countries wanting to protect their interest at the cost of others. Something similar is being done by China. Every second day, China says, I will stop the export of rare earth materials. China knows it is a leader of global supply chain. And across various industries, various countries, solar energy, electric vehicles, semiconductors. All three leading industries need rare earth metals. China leads the world. China keeps giving supply shocks. China says, I will not export them. I will cut the exports. Again, that's a sign of anti-globalization. Similarly, American President Trump also made a policy recently which said America will not sell technology of AI chip fabrication to India. Once again, a move towards protectionism and anti-globalization. This is the problem India is facing right now. One problem with closing markets like America, with uncertain partners like China, where should India sell its exports? Second problem, India being the youngest country of the world, how to utilize our demographic dividend in such a difficult time when the world is becoming anti-global? Third, is there any alternate solution? Is there any new solution that India can adopt to continue to become Atmanirbhar and Viksit Bharat very, very soon in another 20 years perhaps? So this article is talking about exactly that. That today the world situation is changing. We have seen how countries like America and China, even Europe for that matter, they suddenly close their markets to product from India. In this case, there are few solutions remaining. One, increase domestic demand. Second, make the country as much self-reliant as it can. And third, try to help other countries of the global south and they will help you. Try to find market for your products in countries like South America, in countries like South Asia, who are populated and who have a good demand. Here comes another new concept that since 2000, India has announced so many new missions to become Atmanirbhar. India Semicon mission to become self-reliant in semiconductor, Make in India mission, India's defense indigenization, move towards solar energy by local manufacturing of photovoltaic batteries, reduce dependency on imports. And since 2000, India has received about $1 trillion in foreign direct investment. So from 2000 to 2025, if you see all these years, India has received $1 trillion in foreign direct investment. But today, as so many countries are becoming protectionist, what is the solution that we have? See, there is a paradox here. The paradox comes from the fact that gold is a very important investment. In India, gold is not just about investment, it is about emotions, family values, something religious and cultural. People do not like selling gold. For them, it is something which is about their pride, which is about their family values. But gold is a potential reserve which can make India even more Atmanirbhar. And how will that happen? Let's understand that in the world right now, as the world is becoming more anti-global, more protectionist, India needs to understand that global investments in terms of inflow have been reducing now. And foreign portfolio investment are also not reliable anymore. They are very volatile. India is moving towards, not only India, the whole world is moving towards deglobalization. Can we not utilize our gold wealth? Talking about gold wealth, interestingly, in India, if we do an estimation, then all the households together, all the homes together in India, they have around 25,000 ton of gold wealth. 25,000 ton of gold wealth. Besides, India has one of the largest private gold reserved in the whole world. One of the largest private held gold reserve. India is very rich in its gold. But unfortunately, India still depends on gold import. That's the paradox article says. India has 25,000 ton of gold that is held by families in India, private households. You know how much is this? 55% of Indian GDP. That's the level of gold that we have. It is a reserve, but it is not liquid money. You cannot use it. It is a fixed asset. And that's the problem. 55% of GDP is gold reserve in India, but still India depends on import when it comes to the gold sector. Because this is a non-productive asset. It cannot be used. It is a completely non-productive asset. Yes, we have it. We are the largest one to have so much privately held gold. But what's the benefit? In India, people are still spending billions in foreign exchange. And 87% of our gold demand is meant through exports. That is very, very ironical. So what we need to understand today, that can we make a new policy towards gold monetization? Can we convert this gold into liquidity and currency for improvement of the economy? That's the question article is making. After all, it is an asset for India. It is 55% of GDP of India. So therefore, this wealth is locked up. It is a non-productive wealth. Okay. So despite such huge gold reserves, India still imports 87% of gold. We need to solve that problem. And how can we solve that problem? One thing is that we can introduce gold-based accounts in commercial banks. Gold-based accounts in commercial banks means gold accounts, a specific category of bank accounts where the user can track their investment. This will enable gold to get converted into liquidity if they are deposited in the bank rather than keeping the gold at home. It is not going to help the country or GDP. Second thing is that banks also need to manage the deposits and payments of gold as a separate scheme altogether. Then, yes, absolutely. India had launched, yes, SGB, the sovereign gold bond scheme for that. Very well said, Dipesh, launched by RBI. But as of now, much part of it is discontinued. It is not in use right now as such. Many schemes under that were already discontinued just last year. So we need to revive all those schemes. Very well said. So we need more schemes like sovereign gold debt schemes, where people can safely invest their gold. The banks can use it up, and the users can also track their investment, their saving, and what benefit are they getting out of it in terms of interest deposition. Now, if we start monetizing our gold, then about 6.5% benefit will accrue annually to the economy. That's a great advantage. And rather than Indian government commercially borrowing, it is much better to utilize gold bonds and utilize gold deposits for creating liquidity. All we need today is a formalization of exclusive gold market. If there is an exclusive gold market, like we talk about carbon market, green market, similarly, we can have an exclusive gold market. Regular routine savings account which deal only with gold. Good interest rate. The banks be allowed to use it to convert it into loans and liquidity. That can really support our economy right now. So various schemes like the gold sovereign debt, sovereign bond scheme, which have been discontinued primarily now, need to be revived. We need to understand that we don't have to import 87% gold when there is so much within our own country. But unfortunately, Imports continue to contribute to 1/3 of our trade deficit. This is the data from 2013. So let's improve that. Let's allow people to mobilize their gold. Let's convince them that investing in gold by depositing it in the bank and other formal golden bond schemes is much better than just keeping it in the form of jewelry. That way, it's a wasted resource. Nobody is taking advantage of that. So, if India has massive gold, let's create more schemes like the sovereign gold bond scheme to further keep on converting this into ready to use money and business cycle. That's what the article is trying to tell you. Now, quickly, the question, consider the following statements. One, India's households collectively own the largest private reserve of gold the world over. This is about more than half of India's GDP. Second, the primary objective of gold monetization scheme is to convert wasted, uselessly kept idle household gold into productive financial asset and reduce India's import on gold, which is currently 87%. And three, the cost of funds raised through gold monetization is generally higher in India than India's borrowing cost from international markets. So, which of these statements do you think are valid? You can let me know. Which of these statements do you think are valid? Only one is a little tricky. Rest are looking easy to me. Definitely the first statement is correct. Yes, collectively India's private households have gold that is more than half, 55% of India's GDP. That's correct. Then main objective of gold monetization is to convert useless gold into money. That is also correct. So C cannot be correct. B cannot be correct. Now between A and D, first statement is valid. What about the third one? The cost of funds raised through gold monetization is generally more than India's borrowing cost from international markets. This is slightly confusing. So Dipesh and Shubhra have answered already. They say it's D. Vikash believes it's A. So I knew this is slightly confusing. Shubham also believes the same thing. Sonu has also answered, but I think everybody has a conflicting answer today. For this question, there is no majority. It is a flipped response. Let's track the response, okay? Let's keep the confusion on whether the last statement is correct or not. It only means that if we try to raise money through liquidization, monetization of gold, then its cost will be higher than the commercial loans that India takes from international markets. Think about it. Can this be valid? Can this be valid? What did the article tell you? Think about it. Now, quickly, the next article says India needs to adopt stable coins. Just 3 days before I spoke about stable coins, as our finance minister, Shri Nirmala Sitharaman, said that it is high time India adapts to the global finance market, and India has always been scared of cryptocurrency. Indian government has never really allowed cryptocurrency because it is very volatile and risky. But today the global community is increasingly moving towards cryptocurrencies like stable coins, and India has to do the same. Yes, that's correct in a way. Absolutely, Akhtar. Yes, Eric. Let's see. Let's wait and watch what's the answer. So what are stable coins? GS paper 3. I told you already, stable coins are the kind of currency which are cryptocurrencies. They are crypto in nature, but they do not have a fluctuating value. They have a fixed stable value because they depend on many different kind of currencies like USD, US dollar, like euro, for example, other currencies like gold. So their value is very, very fixed. They are not volatile. So they are cryptocurrencies, but they have a very, very fixed value. They have a very reliable value. What is the purpose of this? The purpose through doing a transaction by stablecoin is to make sure that you do transactions quickly, real-time transactions. And you are getting the benefit of cryptocurrency, but at the same time, you are not facing any volatility. You are having the benefit of fixed and stable price. So therefore, they are a broad component of virtual digital assets. Nowadays, we talk about virtual reality, online reality, digital currency, something that you have online through digital mode. And this stable coin is a perfect example of virtual digital asset. The benefit is that it works like a cryptocurrency, but it doesn't have volatility like that. It is very stable because its value is rooted in fixed currencies like dollar, gold, euro, all other such things. So it is almost like a fiat currency, a fixed currency like US dollar. It doesn't fluctuate too much. It's a safe way. How does it work? The person who issues the stable coin keeps the security or keeps the reserves, such as money, gold, crypto coins, equal to the value of stable coins that he or she has issued. These coins are issued on blockchain networks, the famous blockchain networks like Solana, Ethereum. And then what happens? Within a matter of seconds, they can be transacted from any country to another. So globally, the transactions can happen in real time through stable coins. Then the price is extremely stable, so you can make payments for that internationally, globally. It is a very good way of getting remittances. India is one country which majorly depends on foreign remittances, the money that's earned by Indian workers abroad and then sent back to the country. It's a major asset for India, a good part of our GDP. That can also be done through stablecoin because it is not volatile. The value doesn't fluctuate. Like traditional cryptocurrencies, for example, the Bitcoin. That's why Bitcoin was never given a legal backing in India because of the volatility of its nature. But stable coins are very, very good. One thing is because they will be backed by the government. So they are highly reliable. Second thing, you can do crores of transactions within seconds. It saves time, energy, money. Third thing, traditional remittances. If you remit the country back to your money, it may take 4 to 5 days. Plus, per transaction, there is a fine that you have to pay. The cost of transaction is $50 per transaction. That's very high. With stable coins, it is not the case. The payment happens in seconds and the price per transaction is as low as $0.01. So it saves money. For countries that depend on external remittances like India, it's a great way of getting foreign exchange. This also enables money that can be managed through artificial inputs like AI or software systems. They don't need much human interference because they are completely digital. Then, international bodies like IMF, Financial Stability Board. Today, all of these agencies are busy creating policies, protocols, and programs to cooperate, to create global coordination and cooperation for the use of large-scale stablecoin. It is gaining prominence across the world. But India has always been very cautious. India has been very careful when it comes to crypto. India has not really allowed cryptocurrency transaction as a legal tender. For example, back in 2018, banks in India were banned from dealing with cryptocurrencies. Later in 2020, the ban was revoked by Supreme Court, but still it shows how careful and cautious India is. Because of the volatility of its nature, it is not reliable. But stable coins are legally recognized. They have a backing by the government. They are not volatile. They enable quick transactions. Agencies like IMF are now thinking about making policies for global stablecoin. So India cannot be left behind here. And as our finance minister recently said, India has to engage with the global community and quickly work towards stablecoins. After all, India is largest recipient of remittances from abroad, $125 billion annually. As I said, in India, a major part of our GDP comes from the money that Indian workers earn outside and send back to us. Remittances. Indian diaspora is tremendous in UK, US, West Asia, Southeast Asia. All that money is then finally coming back to India. So India receives $125 billion annually in remittance. If we shift this to stablecoin, then how much money will we save per transaction cost and how quickly will this be done? Plus, because it's not volatile, it is a guarantee that we are playing very, very safe and doing low transfer cost oriented transaction. Then India also, just as today India has created the sharing of UPI, Unified Payment Interface across other countries in South Asia, Singapore, Indonesia. So many countries are using India's UPI successfully. If India creates a stable coin that is safe, then India can also then expand it to other countries and India can do a sharing with other countries when it comes to AI driven stable coin transaction based economy. And then India can play a key role because India is the voice of the global south, the leader of the G20 nations. So yes, India can now create its own transparent, authentic, validated cryptocurrency regulations which protect the consumer, which protect the government and which are very transparent. So today India's role in stable coin evolution is very important. Very important, okay? Now question, which of the following best describes stable coin? 1. A cryptocurrency whose value fluctuates with market demand. 2. A blockchain based digital asset designed to maintain fixed value compared to or depending on an underlying asset like gold, INR, US, fiat. 3. C. A central bank digital currency issued by a sovereign government. Or D. A digital token backed only by algorithmic control, that is, only run through AI. So, which of these statements do you think are valid? It's an easy question, isn't it? Okay, Vikash has answered. What about others? Yes, that's a valid statement given by you, Vikash, over there. Yes. So now this question, absolutely, Dipesh. I agree with your response here. And Vikash, I agree. Yes, Shubham. Yes, Akhtar, it's correct. Shubhra, what will be the answer, my dear? B or C? A is invalid. Stablecoin is the opposite of A. Its value doesn't fluctuate with market demand. D, a digital token that's only controlled by AI, not correct. So B and C. C, a central bank digital currency issued by a sovereign government, not really. Not really. So which is the answer here? Absolutely, it's B. Yes, stablecoin is a blockchain based asset. Its value is based on underlying asset, a fixed value asset like fiat currencies. US dollar is here, gold is there, whose prices do not fluctuate so much. They are very stable. So therefore the answer is B. Yes, so no, absolutely correct. Well done. One of the last articles for the day. America is now trying to create 1 lakh dollar fee one time on fresh applications of H1B visa. But unfortunately, 70% of these visas are used by Indian professionals working in America. Why? Because America is the leading economy of the globe. For one reason, because US leads the world in AI, computing, digital economy, all of that. The reason is that US economy is based on talented people, and these talented people are not coming from America. These are the talented people coming from India, China, Korea, Japan. The talent is outsourced in America. Majority of professionals in the IT sector who work in the STEM domain, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, all of these people are not Americans. All of these people are coming from outside, majority of them being Indians. But suddenly on 19th September, US President Trump said, we will impose a $1 lakh fee for all the new applications on H1B visa. That's the migrant visa form, which workers who are working in America need to apply for. And he said, within this month, we will start using this visa. It will be implemented immediately. But this one time fee is high. It's extremely high and unaffordable by majority of those startups who finance professionals from India. They cannot afford that. The reason given by America for this sudden change is to protect the interest of American workers. They feel that American companies are hiring only people from India and China because they can hire them at a cheaper cost. And therefore, they do not hire American workers. This is leading to unemployment among American graduates, and that is something President Trump doesn't want. So he believes by increasing the visa fee, many Indians and Chinese will not be able to buy the H1B visa, and hence they cannot go to America. This will benefit American employees. But the article says America doesn't understand it is axing its own foot here. By reducing the number of outside professionals to come to your country, what you are losing is the potential to grow, innovate in the STEM sector. About 19% of America's science, technology graduates, researchers, doctors, and scientists are foreign in nature. They are all people from foreign countries. They are not Americans. According to National Science Board, outsiders, foreigners are 19% of STEM workers and 43% of research level scientists and engineers, senior level scientists. 43% are outsiders. When it comes to specialized areas like AI, computer, mathematical science, majority workforce again is foreign. According to United States Bureau of Labor Statistics project, in America, STEM occupations, science, engineering, maths occupations will grow by 8% in the next 10 years. 2.7% will be the job hike in non-STEM areas, but for the STEM jobs, technical digital jobs, 8% increase will be there in these jobs. And you are saying that we will not issue easy visa to Indians and Chinese. Who will work in these jobs? If you create 8% extra jobs in 10 years, who will work for those jobs? How many jobs will you provide to your own employees in America? Perhaps they are not as skilled as Indian workers are, as foreign workers are. They are not as experienced either. Plus, will they be enough to work for all these jobs? Will they fill up the vacancies? Will it not lead to structural unemployment? Will it not create a loss to America's economy? That's the question. India is participating. India is responsible for 70% of H1B visa recipients. If you cut down on Indian talent, America's economy will suffer too. After all, it is Indians who work in high tech domains in America, and America will lose that advantage. There are many startups who are doing breakthrough innovations in AI, quantum computing. All of them will face a loss because Indian engineers and scientists will not be available. Plus, Indian workers and Indian scientists and Indian graduates, researchers, once they understand that it's too expensive to go to America, nobody will finance their visa. No company will do that. They will start moving to other countries like Canada, UK, Germany, Russia, UAE, South Korea, Japan, who already have a grey economy, who have old people, and who are inviting talented people from India and China. Why will they not go? Definitely they will go. Will this not lead to US losing its command over technological domains? It will. Plus, when you issue H1B visa, you also create many side jobs, such as managing the visa application, tracking the visa application, local agents. All these jobs will also be devastated. They will be finished if you remove the whole concept of H1B visa. If foreign talent is blocked, it will lead to multiplying economic defects in America too. So, therefore, India can create this as a major agenda and complain against America, where in international forums like Quad, the quadrilateral dialogue between India, America, Japan, Australia, India should do that. In BRICS meeting, India should highlight this agenda that suddenly blocking and hiking the visa fee for talent going from India is not correct. It is very wrong in principle. It's about harming the long history of people to people migration to America. In the short term, Indians will face a loss. Many Indian startups could face a loss, but in the long run, it is America's loss because Indians will find a ready market in UAE, Germany, France, South Korea, Japan, and all these are evolving AI industries. So therefore, if US is replacing Indian talent, it's a loss for the US in the long run, not for India. After all, India has the vast amount of human resource capital, which other countries cannot have. So consider the following statements. One, the recently introduced $1 lakh fee on H1B visa petitions in America applies only to new applications and not to renewals of existing ones. Two, the H1B visa is mainly used to hire low skilled labor in the US service sector. And three, Indian professionals comprise of a significant share of H1B visa holders, especially in STEM fields. So which of these things do you think are valid? Good morning, Darshan. You're most welcome. Absolutely, Akhtar. That's correct. Even Indians, correct. Indigenous Americans are unemployed. Yes, we should see that also. There is structural unemployment in America. I agree. Yes, absolutely so. No. China has declared a similar kind of visa in response to that. Absolutely agreed. What's the name of that visa, if you can tell me? Thank you for that point. For this question, Dipesh, Vikash, Sonu, Shubham, and Akhtar have already answered. And all of them are okay. Now, here also responses are different. Darshan has also answered. So, let's quickly see the statements. The first statement is valid, yes. Okay. Third is also valid. Then what's the problem? Second statement is a problem here. H1B visa is primarily issued to hire highly skilled labor, not low skilled labor. Why highly skilled labor? Because people who take up 70% of Indians participate in H1B visa, but they are the IT professionals. the highly skilled professionals in STEM domain like engineers, scientists, doctors. That's why America hires them, because although they are very talented and skilled, but the cost of hiring them is cheaper than the cost of using local American labor, because labor laws are very strict in America. So that's why here the answer should be A, 1 and 3. Okay, well tried, well answered, everyone. Sonu, Shubham, Akhtar, Darshan, well answered, very well answered. Okay, now the next and the last article, perhaps. Three scientists, just like yesterday, we spoke about the Nobel Prize in the field of medicine or physiology. Why was it given? Remember, yesterday we spoke about TREGs, a kind of immune system cell, T cells, that can protect us against autoimmune disease. For that discovery, some people have received Nobel Prize for medicine, two American and one Japanese scientist. Today, once again, three scientists have won Nobel Prize for physics, and these scientists are John Clark, Michael Devoret, and John Martinis. All three have received Nobel Prize for physics. Why? In the field of quantum computing. They have proven that quantum computing is not only happening at a micro level, at a small level, but by creating a larger circuit which they call as Josephson junction. Josephson junction, a large circuit that the scientists created, has shown that quantum computing can be used at a major scale. Therefore, they have got this Nobel Prize. For countries like India, it is a very important development, because India itself is busy doing its quantum mission. So, for India, such key insights into what is the Josephson junction, what is the concept of quantum tunneling, and how do you create macro level quantum computing are things that India can learn from. So, a great discovery, a great important thing for UPSC also. Very well said, Dipesh. Yes, my dear. Yesterday, when we were talking about scientists who got Nobel Prize in medicine for trying to find a solution to autoimmune disease, we spoke about the FOXP3 gene. Yes, it is the FOXP3 gene in human body that regulates the production of TREGs, immunity cells which protect us against autoimmune. That's enough to remember for the exam. Now, for this also, just 2 points you need to remember. The Nobel Prize for Physics has been given to these three people, John Clark, Michael Deverett, and John Martinis. The purpose is that they have shown how controlled quantum computing, specifically named as quantum tunneling. Quantum tunneling is the concept they have given. This quantum tunneling can be used from supercomputers, and this can be used at huge macroscopic level to create big special circuits. This is a breakthrough discovery in the science of quantum computing, and it could be the next important pillar of technological advancement. For India, it is important because India is already working on national quantum mission to build quantum computers, to secure communications, encryption using such technologies. So today, these three doctors have shown, these three scientists have shown that they have built a big circuit, and through this circuit, by using two supercomputers and a very thin layer of insulating material between the two, they have created a circuit called Josephson junction. Josephson junction. That's all you need to remember for the exam. Josephson junction. How is it created? By creating two supercomputers, a a layer of insulator in between. This is trying to manipulate the passing of current between the three layers. It regulates the passing of current and electricity. And then what happens? They can show, they have proven that through this controlled behavior, they can create a concept called tunneling, quantum tunneling. Further, this has great application in various technologies. That's why India could benefit by learning more insights on Josephson junction and supercomputing qubits. Okay, that's all we need to know here. And now for the last article, it is United Kingdom's Prime Minister, who is now with 10 other people, high level and 100 other members, coming to India for a negotiation. How is all of this happening? All of this is happening because recently India and UK had signed a free trade agreement. They had signed a CETA, Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement. This happened when our Prime Minister Shri Modi was visiting the UK. As both the countries are working towards the free trade agreement, which will be implemented soon now, it has not been implemented yet. It is still passing through legislation in UK, but by 2026 January, it should get implemented. So that's one agenda of discussion. Other agenda is that India and UK have signed a long-term partnership agenda, that is Vision 2035. Yesterday in the news, I had spoken about a bilateral exercise, naval exercise that's happening between the navies of UK and India. I told you it is a part of the Vision 2035 between India and UK. Which exercise was that? I spoke about one exercise called Indradhanush, Air Force. I spoke about another exercise between India and UK, Ajay Warrior, military. I spoke about a third exercise from news yesterday between the navies of India and UK. I also told you all three exercises, Indradhanush, Ajay Warrior, and one naval exercise I discussed yesterday. I said all three are parts of Vision 2035, a 10-year program of partnership and cooperation in trade, investment, technology, innovation, climate action and sustainability between India and UK. Very well answered. Yes, absolutely, Sonu. Order. Akhtar. I spoke about exercise Konkan. Very good. Excellent. Exercise Konkan as it's happening in the western coast of India between UK and Indian navies. This time from India, a special CSG is participating called INS Vikrant. Exercise started in 2004. This time it's one of the biggest version of Konkan exercises between India and UK. So all these exercises, naval Konkan, air Indradhanush, land Ajay Warrior, between India and UK are a part of 2035, a 10-year long vision between both the countries. Shared history, culture, better innovation, better migration through green energy transition, trade and investment. Plus, addressing geopolitical problems like America's tariff policy, China's expansion in the South China Sea, Russia-Ukraine war. All this will be the agenda. Yes, Vikash. Okay, talking about the relationship today, India and UK, as of 24-25 financial year, have a bilateral trade of 44.1 billion pounds. That is about $59.14 billion. That's massive trade. India is 11th largest trade partner for UK. So which is India's largest trade partner and which is the second largest trade partner? Does anybody know? Largest and second largest. Anybody who knows can let me know in the comment box also. UK is 11th largest trade partner. India is 11th largest trade partner for UK. And it is expected that the GDP contribution to UK will be 0.13%. 4.8 billion pounds annually. Okay, so that's the trade right now. And then please remember about the 10-year roadmap 2035 vision, the three exercises we spoke about, and how the Prime Minister is visiting India to enhance their talks and negotiations. Now, the last article, the Supreme Court of India has given an order, issued a directive to all the states and all the union territories in India to do what? To create a proper comprehensive policy roadmap and program to do what? Program to create road safety rules in India. Road safety rules in India, such as compulsory helmets, pedestrian path protection, wrong lane overtaking punishments, compliance with emission certificates, not using blinding, harsh and dazzling LED headlights, unallowed installation or sale of red or blue strobe lights or hooters. All these should be prohibited under the new act that should be now created in all states and UTs. The purpose is to amend section 210D of the Motor Vehicle Act 1988. That's the purpose here. So now, why did this development happen? It happened because there was a public interest litigation, PIL, that was lodged by a Coimbatore based doctor, who said that in India, because of such bad road safety protocols, people breaking traffic rules, the number of road deaths and road accidents has increased. And these are all preventable in nature. This is happening because of casual nature of state authorities. So, therefore, we must do something very strong to promote road safety among Indian people. Otherwise, it's a waste of their life, human resource, and so many people are becoming disabled because of that. So today, the Supreme Court has asked that various state governments will now reframe their policies under Motor Vehicles Act 1988, and specially Section 210D will create it a compulsion on the states to design much better roads, better road quality also, no potholes, nothing. Plus various other protocols like you are saying the RTO regulations. Absolutely. In India, that's a major problem order. I agree. So, all these have to be looked into, and let's see how the states respond. So, here are all the answers to avoid the confusions that we had. You can cross check them. Okay. And Vikash, as you're saying, it is US and China being the second. Okay. All right. So, it is US, it is China, and the third is it UAE? Is it UAE? Think about it. Well answered, very well answered. And now, before I take your leave, do remember all the important points for the day. And if you're preparing for UPSC 2026, the time is very limited. So, we have called this batch as the target batch, the fast track batch. And we are starting a batch for that on 17th October, actually. So, this is the fast track batch. 17th October, the batch is beginning. So, you can use the code SPLIVE and apply for the batch. Why? Because it is giving you a very good price for all the GS courses plus huge discount on the optional. Okay. And this is available in English, Hindi, bilingual also. And price is only 8,000, not even 8,000, it's 7,999. Okay. But then if you're preparing for 27, that's next year. Again, we have a batch that is beginning today. That's 8th October. Again, a good opportunity. Morning batch, evening batch, all are there across GS subjects through optional CSAT, essay, current affairs, everything will be provided. Price 21,999 only. And then the last is if you're preparing for 2028. Then in that case also you can provide us the details. You can fill up the form in the description box of the video. We will get back to you. But if you want directly to apply for the sale, use the code SPLIVE. Price is only 35,999. This also for 28 is in Hindi, English and it's bilingual. Starts today, 8th of October. So please apply and give a professional, you can say, edge to your preparation. Okay, all the best. God bless you there. Okay. Thank you so much, Nagulan. Thank you so much, Akhtar. Okay, so no, you don't have to. You don't have to pay anything for the YouTube session for Hindu. This is absolutely a free initiative. But when we talk about the PDF as such, okay, let me ask the backend team and I will get back to you, my dear. Okay, Akhtar? I'll get back to you, my dear. Tomorrow in the session, I will inform you exactly what's the procedure. Let me talk to them. Paka, I will let you know tomorrow. Thank you, Sonu. Thank you, Vikash. Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you, Dipesh. Bye. God bless all of you. See you tomorrow. Bye bye. Take care.